What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/EntitledParents.
This story's called, I Demand You Pay For or Steal the Snacks for My Child's Birthday Party. Background. At the local movie theater, you can host birthday parties for kids for free. Provided you come see a movie, of course. You have to contact the theater to let us know what movie you'll be seeing and at what time. We then reserve the necessary amount of seats in the cafeteria so your party can take place after the movie. You have to provide the snacks yourself and still need to pay for the drinks you order. But you can hand us over your snacks, usually cake or pancakes, so we can put them in the fridge behind the bar and get everything ready on your table. Cake put on plates, pancakes heated up, etc. by the time your movie is over. Also important. My only other job where I had to regularly interact with customers was at my mom's pub. I am always polite, but when your mom is your boss, you can afford to be a bit more cocky with rude customers. It's a habit that's hard to break, especially when you're still regularly helping out at your mom's pub. The story. So this happened a couple of years ago while I was still working in the local theater. It was during the winter break, which is generally the busiest period of the year. I had the cafeteria shift along with someone else. Before the first movies of the day played, we had two sets of parents hand over their snacks and we take their info. Whose party, what movie, how many people. So we could have everything ready on time. After the pre-movie rush, we start refilling the shelves to have everything restocked by break time. This is when the person who works the register comes down to help us restock and informs us about the 3 birthday parties after the first movies. I tell him that's odd, we've only received the info for 2 parties. Luckily, he remembered how many tickets he sold them and for what movie, so we can at least have their tables ready. They'll probably hand over their snacks during the break or get them out of their car after the movie. Happens from time to time. Boy, was he wrong. Break time comes and goes, and still nothing about our mystery party snacks. We restock our shelves and get everything ready for the parties. The first 2 parties came to watch the same movie, so we put them in the same part of the cafeteria, as we can close this part off to prevent other people from getting to their snacks. The parties arrive, recognize their respective snacks, parents come to get some more drinks, which we can put at their table, and enjoy their kids' respective party. By this time, the 3rd party arrived at the cafeteria, and we point them to their reserved tables. This is also when people for the next batch of movies start arriving and ordering their drinks, snacks, so it's starting to get more busy. After taking their seats, the entitled mother walks up to the bar and orders 18 sodas. These are half-liter bottles at 2.8 euros apiece. She handed me a 100 euro bill and I give her back her change. This is where the fun begins.
Excuse me? But you seem to have made a mistake.
Sorry, what seems to be the problem?
You didn't give me all of my change?
You ordered 18 sodas. That's 50.4 euros. You gave me 100, so I returned 49.6.
Shouldn't I get a discount? It's my child's birthday. Look at how many people we brought.
Nope, sorry ma'am. At this point, I turned to another customer as it was getting busy. She scoffed and went back to her table, and I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. 10 minutes later, and things had gotten really busy. Manager had sent someone extra to help out. While I was hopping from customer to customer, my colleague, who had only started working there that winter break, tapped my shoulder and said she had a customer who demanded to talk to the person in charge. As I was the person behind the bar who had worked there the longest, and the manager was indisposed, that was me. I turned around and, lo and behold, entitled mother was there glaring at me. What seems to be the problem?
What is taking you so long?
Excuse me?
We've been waiting for over 15 minutes and you still haven't taken our order.
What are you talking about?
Our food. You took their orders.
Points at the other parties.
When are you coming to take ours?
Ma'am, we don't take orders or provide anything for your party for that matter. You're supposed to bring your own snacks.
What? That's BS. How are we supposed to know that?
Did you really think we would provide food for 18 people for free? Now, if that's all, I really need to get back to—
No, this will not do. I demand you provide us with suitable snacks for my child's party. That is what we were promised.
I'm still trying to be polite, but dropping my customer service voice. What do you want me to do, lady? Abandon my shift to drive to the nearest supermarket and buy you some pancakes?
Yes, that would be adequate.
Yeah. I gestured to the busy cafeteria. Not gonna do that, lady.
Then take something of theirs.
Points at the other parties.
They obviously have enough. My child deserves snacks on his birthday. It's what he was promised.
One of the parents from these parties stood relatively nearby to order something important for later. So now you want me to steal from our customers?
I want you to provide me with the service I was promised.
Tell you what I'm gonna do, lady. I'm getting back to work. I turned and left to take someone else's order. She stomped off, going on about how she'd
inform your manager
and how I'll
be sorry for this.
15 minutes later, and the rush has subsided. The parents of the other parties had most of their kids' guests already picked up and had way less busy to pay their tabs. While I was doing this, my manager showed up with entitled mother in tow, looking at me with a poo-eating grin.
Oh, P, I've received a complaint from this woman that you refused to give them their snacks. Is this true?
I explained how I couldn't give them their snacks as they hadn't even handed over or brought snacks in the first place.
Ma'am, is this true?
Well, yes, but you should be more clear that we're supposed to bring them yourselves. Also, this man is incredibly rude to me.
At this point, the father of one of the other parties from earlier jumped in. He told my manager of how entitled mother had made a bunch of outrageous demands, including ordering me to steal their food, and was incredibly rude to both me and my colleague. He also told him how helpful I was with their party, and how any perceived rudeness was just because I was hurrying up to get back to my other customers. After this, entitled mother just fell silent, and my manager basically told her to get her head out of her butt and leave the theater. She sunk back to her seat and told her party to get ready to leave. The parents of the other parties paid their tab and even gave us their leftover cake as a thank you for our service. The father made sure to say it loud enough so entitled mother could hear it and winked at me. We ate that cake during our evening break, laughing about that entitled mother. It tasted extra sweet to me. Yo, can someone get that Thanos meme in here? We use the customers to destroy the customers. Good on that customer there for, clearing things up and putting that entitled mother in her stupid little place. This story is called Entitled Parent Tries to Take My Wheelchair for Entitled Kid at Disney World Thinking It Was Rented. Gets charged. Okay, for a bit of backstory. I have a disability to where I can walk, but not far without excruciating pain. I went to Disney with my family over the summer. It was very fun until halfway through our trip, enter entitled parent and entitled kid. Here's the cast. There's me, a somewhat disabled teen, my amazing mom,
Best dad ever. Amazing cop.
Entitled parent,
idiot,
bratty kid,
poor dad who has to deal with these morons, and little sisters, my sisters that aren't important. Story. My family and I were on vacation in Disney World for a week. We were having a wonderful time until Wednesday. We were at Animal Kingdom and in line for Cali River Rapids. Enter entitled parents, entitled kid, and poor dad. All of a sudden, entitled parent started talking nonsense.
Hi, can my son borrow your wheelchair to sit in?
I'm sorry, our daughter has to sit there. She can't walk well and it will hurt her to walk.
That's not fair, she can walk it off.
If she can, then so can your son. Entitled parent ain't having it.
Just give me the gosh darn wheelchair.
My sisters and I couldn't believe the utter foolishness this lady had in her.
This is a theme park for kids. Do not swear in front of children.
I will report you to the wheelchair rental service and they will take yours away.
Go ahead. This is our wheelchair. They can't take it.
Entitled parent is very upset and doesn't speak for the duration of the wait and ride. We thought this was the end of it, but no, it gets worse. My family decided to split up because my mom and I loved roller coasters and I haven't ridden Expedition Everest in years. We get in line and it turns out entitled parent and entitled kid were following us. Poor dad wasn't there, so I assumed he didn't want to ride the coaster. I'd say that entitled kid was maybe 6 or 7, so I didn't know if it would be okay to let him ride because I would have been terrified to ride the ride at that age. Here's round 2 of this idiotic lady's rampage.
Hi again, is it okay if we go ahead of you?
Poor dad is waiting for us and we have a fast pass soon. I'm sorry, but from the way you treated us earlier, I couldn't care less if you missed your fast pass.
I need to sit in the wheelchair. My legs hurt. Let us through now or give me the wheelchair.
Look, lady, I have to sit in this chair. He can't just sit in it with me in it. Entitled parent then pushes me out of the wheelchair and shoves her kid in it. She then tries to leave, but the other guests don't allow her as they were watching this unfold. Just then, a security guard comes and assesses the situation because he heard the commotion.
What is going on here?
These two people are trying to steal my wheelchair.
Mom, is this true?
No, this woman stole our wheelchair that my daughter needs. Bystanders start telling the cop what happened.
They're lying. I rented this wheelchair out for my son who is disabled.
That was the sentence that caused her to ruin her vacation.
Okay, I'll have to take this woman into custody until further notice.
Entitled parent thinking she'd won.
What? But I did nothing wrong.
You just lied to an officer. This wheelchair doesn't belong to the park, so it must belong to them.
Eventually, Amazing Cop and his friends asked if we wanted to press charges. We said yes and charged her for assault. After that, my mom and I enjoyed the ride and told the rest of the family what happened. They were dumbfounded and we still laugh to this day. This story is called Karen Didn't Want Her Child to Be Late for School. Let's just say she got what she deserved. So this happened to my friends and I in the 8th grade when we were about 13. We did announcements for the school because we were all on student council. When we did announcements, it was a bit different than everyone might think. Instead of a microphone, we had a corded telephone that connected to the PA system that you would talk into. Keep in mind, this telephone was right next to the secretary in the school's office, and if anyone talked above a whisper, the sound system would pick up on them. We'd first start regular salutations, then the national anthem, and finally regular morning announcements. There was only one rule that the secretary for announcements, and that was not to buzz anyone in during the playing of our national anthem just out of respect for our country. The front doors had locks, so you had to be buzzed in after what happened at Sandy Hook. Then, one day, disaster struck. It was a normal day in April, and the secretary had just printed off our announcements we had to say for the morning. We waited until a couple of minutes after the morning bell, so everyone was kinda settled in class and nothing was too chaotic in the halls, so the background noise couldn't be heard. We had just started our regular salutations, and I went up to set up the radio so the national anthem could be played. Everyone in the office stood up for the national anthem, and right as it started playing, someone had buzzed the front door. Then it buzzed again. After the third buzz, my friends and I looked at each other like, oh crap, something's about to go down. The person at the buzzer, entitled Mother, did not stop buzzing for the duration of the national anthem, which is 2 minutes. Like I said earlier, the secretary did not let her in due to the national anthem playing. After the anthem was done, entitled Mother and her child were finally let in. We all saw entitled Mother storm into the school, practically dragging her child behind her, swing open the door to the office, and if looks could kill, we all would have been dead right there in the office. She then pushes students out of the line for signing in late and starts to have a full-on tantrum and cuss out the secretary, while we were on the PA system doing announcements. So basically, the entire school was hearing in on this while we tried our best to do announcements. Entitled Mother continues to call our secretary a bench and a booty hole for not letting her and her precious daughter in when they first buzzed in, and now she's gonna be really late for work. Which, by the way, if you're late, you're late. A couple minutes won't make much of a difference. Our secretary told her over and over again that it was school policy that she couldn't let anyone in during the national anthem, and all she had to really do was sign her daughter in, which would have taken like 10 seconds. Entitled Mother was not having any of it. It got very ugly when Entitled Mother started getting in her face and threatening her all the while we were trying to do announcements. At that point, everyone in the office was staring and trying to get the lady to calm down. The principal was also called because the situation was getting out of hand. Then Entitled Mother and I met eyes while I was talking on the announcements. She looked at me with pure hatred and proceeded to take the corded telephone from my hand and slam it to the floor. I was shocked. My friends were shocked. Everyone in the office was shocked. We were all then quickly escorted to a room in the office and locked in, including Entitled Mother's child, who I felt really bad for. She was absolutely mortified at her mother's behavior, and a code green was also issued. It basically just means to stay out of the hallways for a period of time. We heard her continue to slam things in the office. There was about $6,000 worth of damage she did, and the police were called. Once the police arrived, they had apparently taken her away in handcuffs. We did not get to see her taken away, although a few students saw her get taken away through the window. My friends and any student that were in the office were then sent home after what had happened in the office that morning. We did not hear anything after that incident. The school did not inform our parents what had happened after that morning. There were a couple of rumors floating around that Entitled Mother's husband was very wealthy and had paid the school a large amount of money to keep their mouths shut, and to drop any potential charges the school had planned. I doubt this is actually what happened. And the second rumor was that the woman was banned from dropping her daughter off at school and was not allowed to be within 100 meters of the school, and the secretary had hired a lawyer and sued the woman and got a large sum of money from winning her case. Anyways, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. Remember to always be careful around entitled parents. You never know what they're capable of or what they're going to do if they do not get their way. And no, I am not making this up. I really wish I was, but this is truly how it all went down. I'm now in high school and will update if anything happens with Entitled Mother. Thanks again and have a great day. Okay, not that I'm assuming the Entitled Mother here was thinking anything, like thinking at all, but what was she thinking? How is tearing up a school office and cussing out a secretary during announcements gonna fix any problem you may potentially have? Because yes, trashing a school office and cussing out a secretary has always ended in something fantastic happening in your favor. Also, that poor kid. That poor kid. This story is called Entitled Mother and the Forbidden Milkshake. My daughter had a Girl Scout event a few years ago. She hadn't had lunch yet, so I ran out to the local gas station, picked up some food and a milkshake. I get back and daughter began happily eating. We were sitting in the back of the hall while the rest of the troops wandered around to different stations. Entitled Mother storms over to me looking like justice incarnate. "Excuse me, why is your daughter eating that?" She points to her meal. She hasn't had lunch, so I wanted her to eat before getting into the snacks. The gas station actually had decent salads. "That's not fair to the other kids. She could not have it. They will see her with the milkshake and be sad that they don't have one. You should have bought every kid one." "They have snacks to eat. I think you should mind your own business." "She doesn't get to have it. My kid and the others are upset. They're not even looking over here, so my daughter can eat her food." Now, daughter is pretty sensitive about other kids' feelings and got visibly upset over this. "See, daughter knows this is wrong," and she proceeds to grab for the milkshake. I grabbed the shake before she got to it and stated again that the other kids don't seem upset. Upon which Entitled Mother storms over to the Scoutmaster, they talk for a few minutes, and Entitled Mother is giving me a poo-eating grin. Now, I don't know what the Scoutmaster said, but Entitled Mother's grin fades away. She goes back to the event and glares at me the whole time I was there. Man, Entitled Mothers need to learn to mind their own business. What they were doing, her daughter drinking a milkshake, literally has nothing to do with anyone else. Back off! Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.